Welcome to Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston, PhD. Glenn has held his doctorate in psychology for more than 30 years and is also a former multi-million-dollar consultant to the big food industry and uses his experience to help you defeat your cravings. This show will help you to focus on dramatically reducing cravings and leave the diet mentality behind, so you can more easily and effortlessly achieve your health, fitness, and body composition goals. Please remember, no doctor-patient relationship is created via this show, and you are responsible for confirming any changes to your diet, health, or psychological routines with an appropriately licensed professional before implementing them. Now, before we get started, if you haven't yet downloaded the free smartphone app to access dozens of these recordings all in one place, as well as to avail yourself of a confidential community for support, motivation, and assistance, please visit the podcast link on defeatyourcravings.com as soon as possible. And now, here's your host, Dr. Glenn Livingston.
Hey, this is the very good Dr. Glenn Livingston, and I am here with a nice lady named Jane, who has agreed to let me record her call and share it with you so that you can benefit from her strength and experience and wisdom and hope, as well as her trials and tribulations and confusion. Jane, how are you today?
Confused, that was a good word.
What are you confused about?
Mostly I've been confused for a while about my food rules and my food plan. I've been having so much trouble sticking to any of my rules that I keep thinking those are not the right rules. And I'm in a quagmire and I can't get my way out of it.
What are the rules that you're working with and what's making it trouble?
Well, I just don't stick to them a lot of the time.
What are your rules? Do you read them in the morning?
I have not done that.
So you don't really know what your rules are.
Well, I have them here, revised on April 13th.
Okay.
But then I'm pretty sure that I revised them again, so I'm not sure why I didn't find those.
Jane, if you don't know what your rules are, you won't be able to stick to them. You know that, right? Your pig doesn't want you to see the target. It wants you to play blind archery.
Yeah. Okay. I just found the ones revised in May, at the end of May. That was only 3 rules. You want me to read them to you?
You know what? Forget about your rules. Forget about everything in the past. Tell me if you had to come up with 2 rules that would protect you and get you moving forward, what would they be?
I don't want to do this, but this would probably help me if I could stick to it, that I would not eat sugar except for fruit, and my pig doesn't want to do this at all. He doesn't want to do it so badly that I think that I really don't want to do it. I've been trying to do it while allowing myself some sugar, but it hasn't been working.
So if you never had anything sweet besides whole fruit?
If I never did?
Would that be the rule that you think would protect you?
I don't know.
You don't?
I'm totally divided on this. Part of me thinks, yes, that's the thing to do for health, weight loss and everything else. And the other part thinks that I'm going to feel so deprived because food has always been, since I was a child, such a central part of my life. And it still is. And now I'm frightened of saying that.
But intellectually, I understand your feelings about it. I understand you feel very, very ambivalent about it on an emotional level. And you don't have to commit yet. We're just exploring. Is there any other sweet thing that you would want to have besides whole fruit in your ideal diet?
Oh, you mean that I would be allowed to eat? I'm not clear on what you're asking me.
Well, me personally, I have whole fruit and berries and stevia in my tea.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I would have whole fruit, berries, and stevia because I use stevia also.
Is there any other sweet taste you would allow?
I can't think of anything that doesn't contain sugar that I would be allowed to eat. Like sweet potatoes are sweet. I don't want to disallow it's a very healthy vegetable. So no, that's enough.
Whole fruit, berries, stevia, sweet potatoes. I wouldn't have even thought of that as a sweet, but I would have thought of that as a starch. If you want to specify it, okay.
I don't want to specify it.
Whole fruit, berries, and stevia.
Yeah.
Jen, if you didn't do anything else, and I know you're very ambivalent about this, I'm not asking you to commit it this time, but if you did nothing else besides make one rule that says, I'll never eat anything sweet besides whole fruit, berries, and stevia again, how would that impact you?
I eat healthy as it is, except when I'm binging. How would it impact me to not eat any sweets? It would probably stop me from a lot of binging or from big binging. I do have one other thing that I realize that some does contain sugar and some doesn't. It's crackers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where that fits in with the sugar, but any kind of crackers, even crackers that taste like cardboard.
Are you talking about graham crackers, or you're talking about...
Oh, no, I'm talking about crackers like Cars water crackers, or Mary's crackers are allowable because they're not made from flour. Just crackers that you buy in the store, stone wheat thin crackers. I can eat a sleeve of those.
Do you want to rule about flour also, or about starch?
I think I probably should, and it's very tough for me. I mean, I'm screaming inside my head about this.
You want to start with the sweets rule?
Yes.
What if we only started with the sweets rule? Would things get better immediately if you followed it?
If I followed it, definitely it would get better. Yes.
How much better?
You're looking for a percentage?
Well, just a qualitative sense. Would this make a big difference if you only had whole fruit berries and stevia for your sweet taste in your diet?
Yes, it would make a big difference. I mean, I don't know how to describe how much, but it would probably stop a great deal of my binging, if not all, most of it. Binging is definitely centered around sugar.
Make a huge difference, right?
Yeah, it would.
What if that's all we focused on right now?
Okay, I'll try anything. I mean, the thing is, Glenn, that I can do any of this for a while. I mean, having been doing all the reading of all your books and listening to some of the podcasts and some of the other reading I've been doing, I think it was you that said, turns out that binge eaters tend to be very good dieters. I could follow this rule for a while. I just don't know if I could do it for the long run.
Your pig is saying that you have to worry about next month and next year. What you have to do to get better is eat well now. That's what you have to do to get better.
Leaving sugar out of my diet would definitely help me.
You can change your mind later if you really want to. You can change your food plan later if you want to.
Yeah, right. That's true. So yes, I can say that I can live with that rule.
Okay. And remind me what it would mean to you if you had no sugar for 30 days, only had whole fruit berries and stevia?
I would probably curtail most of my binging, if not all.
And if you curtailed most of your binging, what would life be like in 30 days?
I'd probably feel a lot better. I have a lot of inflammation, arthritis, and things like that. And I know that it's caused a lot by sugar. And I've been eating so much of it in the past several weeks that my arthritis has flared. And that's a very main thing. I've got it in my knees and my fingers and every place else where you have to move.
Your arthritis pain would be much less.
I think so. I was there before, and it was much less, and has definitely crept back since I crept back to my old eating behavior.
Okay. Very good. What else would be better?
I'd probably lose some weight, and that would be way better.
How much weight would you lose in 30 days?
How much? At least 10 pounds.
I'm just trying to define some specific benefits, something to look forward to.
I could lose 15 pounds without eating a little, because the weight that I put on very quickly, and the bulk of that, and the beginning of that tends to come off very quickly.
You might lose 10 pounds in a month if you're not binging on sugar.
Yes.
Uh-huh. What would it mean to you to be free of arthritis pain or have much less arthritis pain?
I'd be able to stand, walk, make dinner, draw again. I'm a former designer, and my fingers hurt too much to draw well.
What did you draw?
I was a fabric artist and in the garment industry, and then I was an interior designer.
I remember that. I remember you telling me that last time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember your art. I haven't seen your art.
No, you haven't.
I haven't seen the fabrics, but no.
No.
Did you really enjoy that?
It's not that I enjoyed it. I did it for over 30 years, and I was very good at it, and I was well known. But I always had this dream of when I retired, I'd want to paint or do something. Or actually, I do photography as a hobby, and that's very hard for me because I like to do nature photography, and I can't stand well enough when I scoot down to the ground to photograph something low down. I can't do that because my knees are so bad. I don't think that it will cure it completely, but I think it would make a huge difference.
So you could be doing some things that you love again.
Yeah.
What kind of nature photography? What did you take pictures of?
Landscape or flora, fauna, all kinds of interesting things. I live out here on an island, and it's beautiful here, and there's just nature everywhere.
Where do you live?
On Shelter Island.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. I grew up on Long Island.
I know. I remember that.
We used to go to a tennis club there, and we used to go to a tennis club in Quogue as a spoiled, Hamptons.
Yeah, it's nice out here. But I also have another home, so I live in two places in Nassau County, in Jericho.
Yeah, I used to live in Syosset. Wow.
I remember that.
Same old stumpy grounds.
But that's not where I grew up. I grew up in the Bronx. So I lived in a village. I was a village girl.
Yeah, I love the village. Used to pig out in the village quite a bit. I won't tell you where.
I didn't in those days. In those days, I was really slender, and it did not pig out. I guess I did occasionally, but I was nice and slender.
We can find that girl again.
She's in there somewhere. I know she is.
She's in there. Yeah.
She's just padded.
Not as much as you think. Jane, so why does the pig say you can't do this now?
That he doesn't really want to, because I'm not a youngster. And if it weren't for my knees and the other aspects of my physical aches and pains, why am I bothering to do this? No one's looking at me. My husband doesn't seem to care that much. I'm very pretty. So what if I'm very pretty and chubby? I can't almost find a good reason for it. It doesn't stop me from doing most things. I don't not socialize. I don't not go places. I don't not do any of the things that a lot of people do when they gain a lot of weight. I don't feel good about it when I look in the mirror. I feel terrible. It doesn't really stop me from doing most things, other than things that I can't really go window shopping, because walking slowly is terrible for me, for my back and my knees. That's why I get confused, is I feel both ways.
That's the state of addiction. You're describing the state of addiction, feeling both ways. And the pig's goal is to keep you in that state of confusion indefinitely. Get you arguing back and forth about it and keeping you in an endless debate. And while you're debating, you can keep on having pig slop. That's what the pig is doing. That's okay. We're working on that.
And I know that I'm in the middle of Jack Trimpey's book. So yeah, right. It seems to penetrate some other level.
We're working at it. Your pig says until it penetrates at another level, you're going to keep on binging.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says you can understand it intellectually, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah. The pig keeps looking for that thing that's going to make a light bulb go off. All of a sudden, I'm going to wake up and go, oh, right, this is it. I mean, I thought that's what this was, and I found it. As I'm reading it, and I related to everything, when I read the first book, even before I knew about the pig, to recognize the pig's squeal, it was saying, yeah, it'll work. It's not going to work for you, because nothing else has. So, it does at the beginning, but then it doesn't in the long run.
And therefore you should give up and binge now.
Well, yeah. Right. I know that's the end of every pig squeal sentence, so I get that. But it is what happened. Although at the beginning I did the February intensive, and I was really good, and I loved it, and I was like a good student, and I did all the work, and I wrote down refutations, although not always. I was undone by the quarantine. Surprisingly, I didn't expect it to do that to me. I just did not expect that. It just threw me off, and then it's gotten worse. Even though I'm sort of used to the quarantine now, it started out as being very rattled and changing my routine and how I went shopping and how I would cook meals and how I would get the right food in the house. And it started out, horribly, when we thought we had to wear masks and 7 pairs of gloves and, body armor to go into a supermarket, until the point where it's much more realistic now. But by now, the habit has just gotten to me, and I have been unable to get back to where I had been after the intensive. And I called the other morning. She keeps having first days. And I said, oh my God, I'm right there with you.
The pig says you're going to keep on having first days.
Yes, the pig says it. I get it's the pig, but he is so wrapped around my prefrontal.
Do you want to leave it there? You want to leave it wrapped around, or do you want to separate?
No, I don't. I do not want to leave it there. That I'm clear about.
So why else does the pig say that you can't stick to this?
Because it's too hard. I have some challenging things in my life that I have my hands full dealing with, and I don't have the energy. Pig says I don't have the energy to do any more that I'm dealing with. And that I won't go into specifics about, but that is what the pig tells me.
Anything else?
He says at my age, why bother? I'm healthy. I'm not unhealthy. He's got a lot of seemingly good reasons for saying the things he does.
And the pig says you don't want to do this. So therefore you shouldn't, you should just binge. How is that a lie?
Oh, it's a lie because, again, I'll go through my whole binge preparation and routine up until the point that I can't put another bite in my mouth. The food will make me feel good, and then I feel horrible and guilty and hopeless. And
You want to, your pig doesn't want to. The pig says you don't want to do this. Who doesn't want to do it? You or the pig?
no, the pig, everything that I've said that was a negative was, I'm aware that that's the pig. In the moment, when it comes right up to it, I don't separate, that's the pig.
We're trying to get you to do that.
Yeah, I know. And I'm very grateful. I haven't given up, and I can't give up. I mean, I keep listening to the calls, and I want to participate in things like this whenever I can.
And you showed up today?
Yes, I want this for myself.
You clearly want this.
Yeah, I'm.
Jen, you have to separate. You have to separate from the pig. If you want this, you got to separate from the pig. I'm sorry to bother you about it.
No, sorry to sound like, oh, you bothered me, but you're not bothering me. I just feel very frustrated.
This is the worst enemy you've ever faced in your life. It's probably the worst thing you've ever gone through in your life, having to deal with this.
Yeah, it's right up there.
When the pig says, why bother? Because your husband doesn't care and you're still very pretty and you're socializing and doing the things that some other people stop doing, but this doesn't stop you from doing anything. The pig says, so why bother? Who cares? Let's just binge. How is that a lie? Why is that a problem?
Because it's never just one binge. It just keeps going. It's not that it's going to stay the same at this level. It's only going to give me minutes of pleasure, and then it's going to give me grief, and it's going to intensify. It's going to snowball, and things are going to get worse, and I'm going to end up like one of those people on that 600-pound show. It's not funny. I mean, I don't mean to laugh. I feel horrible for those people. Then I don't want to become one of them. I'm far away from that.
You're already having trouble with doing your photography and painting and designing. You've already got arthritic pain, and you can't really go window shopping. And
see, here's the thing. I was never a sedentary person. I was an athlete. I was a gym rat. I did everything. I went everywhere. I was the person that held your door open for you, or helped you with your bag of groceries. And I did everything. And now I'm on the other end of that. And I'm not going to be the 20-year-old that's going to pick up your bag of groceries at this point. But having gone from an athlete, an athletic person, to a person that can barely walk on the treadmill unless I have something to hold on to, is horrible for me. And it's like the pig or the binging keeps me in a state of denial about that or something. That's the part of the thing that I can't really get clear.
that's exactly what's happening. You're really clear in it, and we're breaking that now. Even though I don't like being the bad guy, and I don't want you to shoot the messenger, I'm telling you that you're headed for trouble. You've got arthritic pain, you've got difficulty standing, you want to be able to do your design and window shopping, and your pig says that it's not stopping you, but it is stopping you. That's how the pig is lying to you, right?
Yes, but and as I'm sitting here talking to you, I can hear him saying, it doesn't really matter.
How come?
So what if I can't window shop? So what if I can't take photographs anymore? There's always Netflix.
Is that the life you want?
I don't think so, but it's been a while now since I've been this way because my knees have been a problem. My back has been a problem for a few years, and I've gotten used to it, and I've gotten to be able to do the most out of it that I can in this condition.
Do you want to keep adjusting like that? You can if you want to. Some people feel like they've lived their life and they want to spend the last 10 or 15, 20 years of their life, indulging themselves. And I met a lady who told me she was going to move to Portland, Oregon and slowly eat herself to death. She said it would take about 5 to 10 years. She liked all the food carts, and she knew she had high blood pressure, and she knew she had high cholesterol, and she had diabetes, and she was going to deteriorate slowly. But she felt like it was her right to go do that if she wanted to. And I didn't think it was going to keep her out of heaven. I thought it was the wrong choice. If she was a patient, I would have had some obligation to try to get her some help. But some people feel like that. Some people feel like they've had enough of restraining and restricting themselves, and they don't mind turning into an old person and dealing with the aches and pains of old age. And some people are not really wanting to fight it.
When you say that, I'm kind of, it gives me goosebumps because no, I don't want to do that. But I also feel that I don't want to keep struggling all the time. And my weight for a long time has been a struggle for me. Sometimes I've done better and sometimes I've done not well, but I have yo-yoed and struggled with it for probably most of my adult life. At this point, the one thing that I got clearer about was that I just don't want to struggle anymore. But I'm struggling having to dealing with the binges. So when I listen to you, it's all very clear. Everything you say hits home for me because I know it's true. But then when I get off this call, this recording, and I go inside, I'll have a thought or a feeling or whatever. And at that moment, when I need to separate myself from the pig, I don't do it.
You haven't up until now. You've been binging up until now.
Well, I did for a while, then I stopped.
That's true. You had some success. And your pig is using that as evidence of failure. You can only do this for a little while, and why bother continuing to have temporary successes? You might as well give up and be a happy fat person.
I'll never be a happy fat person. I mean, that's the truth. And there are. I've met them, I've seen them, I know them, and I always think, gee, that person's so much heavier than I am. How come they're happy? And I'm not happy in a large body.
I think you're going to struggle more and more if you keep binging. That's my opinion. I think life is going to become one big struggle. I think you're going to get more inflamed and more in pain. I think you're going to have more and more restrictions. I think your husband will tell you you're pretty the whole time. And I mean, you're a pretty lady. I understand why he would say that. And I think you're a very nice person, so people like you. So it's easy for you to socialize and talk to people and everything. I think life's going to become a progressively more difficult struggle for you if you don't stop binging.
Believe you, I think you're right.
If you want to stop struggling, you have to make a decision. You need to refute the pig at every turn. All of these things about, well, I can do it for a little while and then I can't do it anymore, that it doesn't matter because it's not really stopping me. You got to refute the pig at every turn. You have to make a decision to end the debate. It's okay that the pig is in there and that it feels strong, but you have to really know that you're sick and tired of it. You become sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you take control of the pig. And you do it at the moment. You do it right now. And we just refute the pig at every turn. You know how to do it. You know the answers, right?
I do know how to do it. Yes, sure. I've accumulated a folder of paperwork of all the stuff, all the support things that I've gotten from the program, and good stuff, good material is in there. But then I don't look at it for a long time. I have every email that I get from you that has something good, like a podcast or an interview or something. I save them all in my inbox and I keep them as unread. There's a wealth of great information in there and great support. And then I keep thinking, I'm too busy right now, I'll do it later, or I'll do it tomorrow. Except for once in a while, I don't do it.
You're defining your identity. If you listen to the language that you're using, you're saying, I don't do this and I don't do that, and for some reason this and for some reason that. You're defining yourself. You're letting your pig define you. And I keep changing it to saying, well, you haven't up until now. You can remake yourself. Every day that we get up, we can choose to remake ourselves into a different person. You can get out of bed and you can decide that you're going to walk to the right instead of the left. You can do it. You can decide that you're going to do a push-up before you get out of bed. You could decide that you're going to touch your toes. You could decide that you're going to go have a glass of water before you go to the kitchen. You can make these decisions. There's nothing controlling you that's forcing you to do otherwise. It's just habit.
Yes, I know it's habit. Yes, absolutely.
We need to change your language. We need to say, well, up until now, I didn't use the materials, but I'm becoming a person who embraces this full force and seizes the day. Up until now, I was fooling myself into thinking that there's no reason to bother, that it was enough that my husband thought I was pretty and that I was still socializing. I want to get out of pain. I want to lose those 10 pounds. I want to be able to do some design work again. I want to go out and take pictures of nature. I want to be able to go window shopping. I'm becoming a different person. Jane, you can do this. It doesn't matter what your pig said. You have to eat enough, by the way. You have to eat enough healthy food. It's not enough to just not have sugar, although that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, that's another thing that I speak to a nutritionist. And at that time, I don't know if you remember, I was on one of those very low calorie.
I do. You were having 500 calories a day, and I jumped up and down and said no.
No, I know. I've had enough of you jumping up and down, and I get it. Because I get probably that where it started was from getting diet pills when I was 8 years old because I was a little bit chubby. I don't know how to look for a nutritionist, and I want to find one that's just going to give me the amount of calories I need with the foods that I like, other than sugar. I don't want whole foods. I don't want Mediterranean. I want just regular food that regular people eat. I don't want to go to McDonald's because I don't go to McDonald's. I don't know how to go about finding a nutritionist because I do need someone to give me a food plan.
Put a note on the forum. I don't know people who deal with animal-based foods. Put a note on the forum. Tell them what you like to eat. Tell them your main rule is that you don't have sugars. The only thing sweet you have is whole fruit and berries and stevia. And you want a nutritionist to give you a plan. Does anybody know a good nutritionist? You might have to call a couple of them before you make an appointment and pay for it, and they'll call you back and talk to you for a minute or two.
Okay, I can do that.
Put a note on the forum. There are 5,000 people there. I bet somebody knows an animal-based nutritionist. You could do it like shopping for a car. You Google nutritionist or dietitian. I think dietitian is the licensed word. And you call a half a dozen of them, and you leave a message that says, hey, my name's Jane, and I'm looking for a nutritionist that can help me develop a good plan, the number of calories I should eat other than sugar. I know I can't have sugar. Can someone really give me a diet that's going to work for me? And I'd appreciate it if you call me back and just left me a message if that's something you can do. And then can I talk to you for 5 minutes just to be sure? And then I'm happy to pay you for a consultation after that. Leave them a message and let them call you back and educate you. You'll find a good nutritionist.
Okay, that's good. I will do that. I'll put that on there.
There are a lot of them out there, Jan.
There aren't a lot on Shelter Island, I'll tell you that. But
well,
yes.
Drive into Stony Brook or Smithtown or something like that.
Or to Hampton.
Or into the Hamptons, yeah. It's worth a half hour's drive to fix your life.
Okay, I will definitely do that.
Jan, I'm in your corner, right?
I don't feel like you're the bad guy at all.
I'm beating up your pig real bad, right?
Yeah, and he's just a lazy fat thing, so he doesn't care.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's just a lazy fat, ugly pig.
When your pig says that you're going to keep having day number ones, you tell it that your last day number one is behind you. You're done feeding it last suppers. When the pig says you have enough other things to do and other challenges in life, you say, that's absolutely true, which is why I need my energy, and I don't want to carry around this extra weight. I want to get things done. I want to be a mover and a shaker, get things done without being exhausted at the end of the day or in the beginning of the day. Jane, do you want to ask me any questions? Any other concerns?
My big concern is just what to do to just separate at the moment that I need to, which is every moment that the pig squeals, how to separate myself from that pig. That's why I had to get myself to do it consistently.
Could you put an alarm in your phone or in your to-do list, a recurring note in your to-do list to start every day and ask the pig, why should I eat sugar today? What's your best reason for me to eat sugar today?
Yes, I can do that.
And you practice your refutation. Adopt this one rule, do that one refutation in the morning every day. Read the rule out loud and say, I commit to this 100% and to refuting the pig when it suggests I should break it at every turn. Read it out loud every day.
Okay.
Set an alarm, do that. Take a breath before you take any action when you hear the pig. Take a breath. In for 7, out for 11. And then you know the drill. You go through the process, write down what the pig is saying, refute it, walk away. Eat something healthy.
Okay.
Jen, I have a lot of heart for what you're going through. I have a lot of heart for it. I was beaten down by the pig worse than you were. It seemed impossible.
Yeah.
Everything seemed impossible for a long time.
Just as the crowning cherry on top of the whatever it is, I am so used to losing weight quickly that the thought of losing 10 pounds in a month almost makes me want to throw up. That doesn't make any sense in itself. But yet.
You got to step off the feast and famine thing. It's never going to work long term if you don't do that.
That's the thing. I have stepped off the famine part. Now I've just remained on the feast part. I got to get the other half.
Yeah, well, you know what to do though, right? You know what to do next.
Yes, I do.
No more confusion about the rules. You got one rule. No effing sugar. That's what the rule is, right?
Yes, yes.
We defined it more carefully, but it's basically a 3-word rule. No effing sugar.
Absolutely. I feel very confident right now that I can do that.
That's the only time you need to feel confident is right now. It's always
Right.
going to be now. It's the only time you need to feel confident. I'm not going to let your pig say it's going to happen later because I know what your pig wants to do now.
Right. Actually, I didn't hear him for that second. So
Good.
yeah, no, I get it. I know all this stuff. That's the thing that gets me crazy. I know all this stuff.
And your pig is about to say, why can't I implement it and all that kind of thing. You say, screw
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah, right.
Right effing now, I'm eating no effing sugar. That's what you tell your pig.
Right,
Right effing now, no effing sugar.
right.
That'll be my new mantra that I write about in my next book.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. But I'm going to say it out, the whole word, when I hang up.
Okay, good. You say the whole word.
Right effing now, I'm not going to eat any effing sugar. Okay.
You got it. Okay, dear. Just do it. You'll get adjusted to it, I promise. You'll adjust to it.
I'm going to try to do this. It is like one of those baby steps that you have recommended. I've heard you recommend to other people, and I'm going to,
It's a baby step with big results.
yeah.
Okay, dear. It's lovely to talk to you. Go get them.
Likewise, thank you a lot, Glenn, for giving
Okay.
me the opportunity. And okay,
I'll talk to you soon.
very good. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast of Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston. Now, if you'd like to find out more about the products and services Dr. Glenn offers to help you dramatically reduce your cravings and stop overeating in 90 days or less, please visit defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. That's defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. Thanks.